Perfect. So thank you everybody on the line. Thank you for tuning in to the BlackNorth Initiative Summit today. Welcome to the Sports and Entertainment Committee breakout session. So if you're here, you may work in sports and entertainment, or you've indicated an interest in learning more about how this industry fits into the broader mission of BlackNorth Initiative. So this committee is being chaired by NBA Hall of Famer Isiah Thomas and Olympic champion sprinter Donovan Bailey, and we are very grateful to both of them for joining today. This conversation will last about 15 minutes. Before our committee chairs take over, we'd just like to remind everybody that the Q&A feature is available, and we invite everyone to send questions through this feature. At the end of the presentation and opening remarks from Isiah and Donovan, we will try to answer some of your questions. However, if your question isn't asked or we run out of time, we will be taking these questions back and following up with answers at a later date. So with that, now that we're getting close to about 100 people on the line, I will throw it over to Isiah and Donovan for some opening remarks. And gentlemen, when you're ready for questions, just let me know and I'll start reading some of them out.
Well, first of all, good afternoon, everyone. And Donovan, it's always good to be in your presence. And I will yield to you in terms of having home court advantage. And you know, I think we both should just share with our audience a little bit about some of our past experiences. You as an Olympian, gold medal winner, and me from an NBA perspective in terms of being a champion, and also in the sport of how we had to navigate systemic racism and how this is such an important mission for us to take on, you and I, in terms of trying to bring all universal world together from a sports perspective to really, I guess, to embark on the world initiative in terms of combating, you know, systemic racism across the world. And so if you want to just share some of your Olympic experiences and some of your gold medal winning experiences with the audience, then I'll chime in and I'll speak to some of my Raptors experience in terms of coming to Canada and speaking as a Canadian American and a Black American.
You're a Canadian man. You know how that is.
I meant to say Black Canadian and a Black American. My bad.
Listen, Isiah, I know exactly what you meant, and you know it's always good to spend time with you. First of all, I definitely want to thank you know, Wes Hall for starting this initiative. I think this is amazing that that he has two Hall of Fame sports legends as his ambassadors to this initiative. And certainly I can speak of you know, my involvement in sport, but certainly my involvement with facing systematic racism. 24 years ago, I was speaking to Wes, and we're having a conversation about me being the original Colin Kaepernick. 24 years ago, I was asked a question, and I was asked a simple question, and it was just simply, does racism exist in Canada? And I guess I had the balls to say yes. And who told me to say those things? Because you know, because I said that 2 weeks before the Olympic 100-meter finals, 2 weeks before that, an article came out in the Sports Illustrated, and then every single hour and every single day leading to the 100-meter finals, I had to answer questions about racism. And I thought that I was really just answering a question that was very normal to me, that was very normal to my teammates, and realistically, when I answered the question, my assumption was that I would now be engaging in a conversation with the hierarchy of Canadian sports. And because I had a stage where I was the #1 athlete on the planet, I thought that I would have been able to sit in a room, as you know this, sit in a room when everyone has a pretty big stage, sit in a room and have a conversation. Unfortunately, I was told I was one of those athletes that I was described, I think, in every single word. I was even called an American, Isiah. Yeah. I mean, which I actually wore as a badge of honor, because I said, well, I'm patriotic and I have expectations of myself, so thank you. So, you know, for 24 years, I have definitely gone through a lot of things, a lot of missed opportunities, a lot of financial gain that I missed financial gain. And certainly I'm extremely happy though. I guess I have to say that. I mean, I don't want to spend a whole lot of time talking about myself. I think that I'm extremely happy that we're at a place today where we actually have a platform and we have an incredible united group that are making changes and that we want to make changes to continue so our children never have to go through the things that I've gone through. And I'm very certain that my story will continue to evolve and I will continue to tell people about more of my experiences, but I definitely want to yield to my man Isiah, which I always have a lot of time for.
Well, thank you. And it's interesting to hear you talk about your journey through sport, and even though we are highly competitive athletes, I think we both face the stereotypes that come along with being an athlete, and then also having black skin. And
Correct.
and and when you're an athlete, you're never really given credit for your work in terms of the neck up. You always judge from the neck down in terms of how high you can jump, how fast you can run, but you're never really given credit for your intellectual capacity.
Right.
Then when you put the black skin on top of that, the stereotypes that come along with that in terms of having the black skin and also being an athlete, it's almost like a double whammy. So you and I having to navigate through these spaces. When I was born, on the west side of Chicago, my mom marched with Martin Luther King during the '60s. Saw several assassinations during the '60s in terms of the Kennedy brothers and also Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, fighting for voting rights, fighting for equal rights, fighting just to be a part of the American fabric. And then
Right.
coming over to Canada and being classified. So I was classified in America as a Black American. Now I'm classified in Canada as a Black Canadian American. But the stereotypes were there. And I think through sport, you and I have both been able to navigate. But I think the most important thing is I think we all want to be just like in your part of the country and also in America, we both want to rise to the level of Canadians and Americans, and
Right.
not necessarily be judged by the skin color, but be judged by your intellectual capacity to bring something to the table. So that's where I think you and I can make a really big difference here, because we participated in the sport, and now we've had a chance to observe it, and now we get the chance to come back and critique it. So our experiences around systemic racism, in terms of how it impacts you on and off the field, how it impacts your family, how it impacts your general well-being, is something that you and I can both speak to, and speak to collectively, and have a loud voice, not only just in Canada, but also in America.
Well, we are, as great words. I mean, I think that we are both very blessed to have a global sports landscape. I mean, this is not really just two countries. We have an immense global the sports landscape, and with a lot of eyes and ears right now. And because we're in that space, we're in this space right now, and we have we have some great corporate leaders who right now can make some changes. I think that I'm very excited. Track and field is a singular sport, but I do love basketball. I mean, I did fancy myself as a basketball player at one point, but I am extremely excited to co-chair the Sports and Entertainment Committee for BNI, because we can absolutely make some incredible changes today in every single one of the sporting organizations, and especially in the entertainment side. And,
Yeah.
and certainly get out and see and speak to our community and let them understand that you do not necessarily have to make it on the field. You do not necessarily have to make it as an entertainer. You do not necessarily be on stage. There's is incredible opportunities on every single level. And the fact that my teammate, Isiah Thomas, and I have now teamed together to ensure that there are opportunities at every single level. So we're going to tell these young Black kids that there's opportunity at all levels, and we are going to make sure that you will get that opportunity.
You know, I'll end with this, Donovan, and then I'll throw it to Matt, because we have a lot of people that want to ask us questions. But you know, you and I, in terms of sport, we've watched how sport has brought the world together in so many different ways. You as an Olympian, my Olympic team in '80 was boycotted. You won a gold medal in '96. But you know, when you're in that village and when you around different people from different cultures, different backgrounds, different ethnicities, you never really come to the table and say, oh, I'm Black, you're white, you're blue, you're purple, you're green. You really come to the table as representing your country, as a Canadian, as an American, as you know, someone from Italy or someone from Germany or Russia. I mean, you never, the only time color really comes into play is when we come back to our homeland.
Correct.
Classified in these different color barriers, which stops us from really universally coming together. So I hope you and I can set about the mission of bringing about just one collective sports and entertainment group that speaks through music, that speaks to sport, and that speaks to the great things that you're able to do and we're able to watch and see that our athletes are able to do. So with that, Matt,
Yeah.
I'll turn it over to you and we can you know, take some questions.
Perfect. Thank you both for your opening comments. This is a question that's coming in a few different forms. So we'll start here. And the question is, what's your first order of business? Are there certain year one priorities that you're excited to tackle as co-chairs of the Sports and Entertainment Committee? Where would you guys like to start?
Oh, Isiah, you take that.
Okay. You know, it's such a big question. And I think Donovan and I, you know, we really take this mission so seriously that before we come out with an agenda, and we will come out with our agenda in terms of our 1, 2, 3s to do. But as you know, this is a historical topic that takes some historical thinking to go along with it. And you know, as you heard in our opening, one of the things that we definitely will be attacking is systemic racism and how to attack that and how to bring all the forces together. But we will be putting out an agenda in the next couple of days, sometimes soon, just to make sure that everyone understands what we're trying to do and what our 1, 2, and 3 missions will be that we can accumulate data for, and then also go back and measure at the end of the year.
Yeah. Our general overview, really, at this point, I mean, I just second to what Isiah said, our general overview is to make sure, as I mentioned, that there's an opportunity for in every single position, whether or not it's from the owner of a team down to someone who wants to do co-op. So yes, I think that we will have a very detailed plan.
Perfect. And a lot of questions coming in just from everyday people who are asking, what can I do? So for context, we have a lot of people on the line who might work in sports marketing or work in the boardrooms of sports teams or leagues or national sports organizations. What advice would you give to the average corporate employee who is just looking within themselves and how they can make a difference?
You know, I would say to everyone, if you can start from this premise, you know, since we're speaking in Canada, that everyone that you talk to is Canadian first, and treat that person from that standpoint, as opposed to putting us in the subcategories of Black and white, because when we go to the subcategories of black and white, those comes with systemic racism privileges. And we want to eliminate the privileges and make it a level playing field for everyone to be able to succeed and also have the same opportunity to succeed. So throw away your stereotypes and your individual biases and start anew.
Well said.
Perfect. Next question is specifically related to national sports organizations. So maybe Donovan, you can start with this one, but how would you suggest we go about lobbying national bodies to make some real change towards anti-Black racism? Is there something that they can do at the national team, national sport organizational level that you think would really make a difference?
Well, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things. I mean, Isiah just touched on one, and I think that simplifying the fact that when an athlete comes in, you should probably say hello, or good morning, or good evening. I mean, it's real simple. I mean, you don't have a secret handshake. There's no secret society. You really just want to be accepted as an athlete and be given an opportunity to do something. I've had several conversations with David Shoemaker, who is the head of the Canadian Olympic Committee. I will be having a chat with him tomorrow. I just want to ensure that the opportunities for Black athletes, whether it's sponsorship, whether it's training budget, whether it's travel budget, I don't care what it is. I just want to ensure that the same opportunities that are for the winter athletes are the same for the summer athletes, and the same for the Black athletes or same for the white athletes. I just want to make sure those are the real simple things that I want to start with. I mean, I think that my story with them or with the COC is different. I mean, I'm certain that Dave and I will speak about what I want my involvement to be. But certainly what I also want to do is that the board and the decision makers reflect the incredible athletes that represent this country. So I want to ensure that the board resembles those very same people that are on the field of play, right across the board.
Great. The next question is about, and maybe we can start with Isiah and then go to you, Donovan. Are there any current athletes that really stand out to you that are doing great work, helping to lead the charge to fight anti-Black racism? Any names that you think our listeners should pay attention to, whether it's their social feeds, some of their commentary that you really look up to and admire right now?
I would say in all walks of sport, in the WNBA, in the NBA, the NHL, baseball. This is a international calling and a universal calling that has happened, and it's the only time that it's really happened in my life where I can't point to one specific person that you should follow, because right now universally everyone is speaking up and everyone is saying we want to end systemic racism across the globe, that the melanin in your skin should not define the opportunities that you are able to have or don't have. And I think this is a universal calling. So in terms of just following one person socially from an athletic standpoint, I think this is everywhere. I mean, not only just in sport. Sport gets a lot of attention, but just the person down the street and your neighbor who you're having conversations with. The fact that we're on this Zoom call today having this conversation means that everyone is involved and everybody's willing to play their role. And I just saw in the chat room my OG Heather Sinclair's in the room, so shout out to Heather, and thank you for being a part of our founding team with the Raptors. And our founding team with the Raptors, when you go back and you look at all the people that John and I hired, we were the most diverse team of young people to ever come together in the NBA. And when you look at the Toronto Raptors right now, they're still one of the most diverse teams in terms of their management, in terms of their players. And it's an international team that speaks with an international voice.
I second what Isiah is saying. I think that it's incredible now that we have I did not have social media, and Isiah, you can aid yourself with that one. I did not have social media, and I think what's incredible right now. I mean, I think again, one, what you said, Isiah, with the diversity between you and John Bittoff and yourself, the owners of the Raptors. You know, it was incredible, the team that you put together, and I think that Maple Leaf Sports and Entertainment is trying to do the same thing right now and maintain that. From a social perspective or social responsibility perspective, we have an incredible amount of athletes, and every single person has a stage, and there's a lot of people across the board in every single sport that is using this responsibly. And I think that it's incredible that everyone with a not only just athletes, but every single person with a smartphone is a journalist now. And I think that it's great that we're at a place where, you know, we saw a man getting his life choked out of him, murdered by a police officer. And if not for you know, technology, maybe this would be another blip. But thank God we're in a place right now where every single person on this planet has the opportunity to use their platform to bring light to systematic anti-Black racism.
Great. Donovan and Isiah, this question came in. It says, thank you to you both for speaking on behalf of Black men. As we see our young Black boys grow into men, what is one word of advice that you would give to young Black boys in this country who are facing a lot of the things that we heard today on the summit?
I would say, you know, walk proud, and not only walk proud as a male, but walk with your sister too, as a female. Hold your head high, stick your chest out, and truly believe that you can be anything that you want to be. And while we're going through a very terrible time in our world right now, systemically, the hope for you as a young male and young females is that we are now finally addressing this problem universally, and hopefully we'll have a brighter day. And this is, to me, this is the most exciting thing. The most exciting thing about what's happening right now is that now we're finally having the universal conversation, not just the American conversation, not just the Canadian conversation, but the universal conversation where everybody is marching. Everybody wants that Black male, that Black female to be equal and to have a chance and to be seen as legitimate and not necessarily just a color.
Yeah, oh, wow, Isiah, very strong. You know what? If I may add to that, be optimistic.
Yes.
Be fearless. Educate yourself, and always pick good friends.
Yeah. But don't be afraid.
Be fearless.
Do not be afraid at this point in time. This is the time when, and Donovan knows this as an athlete, and I know as an athlete, right? This is the time when you line up right next to that guy, you look him or her in the face, and you say, "I'm better than you," and you run your race.
Absolutely.
Thank you both. And last a few times, just as we approach the 20-minute mark, before you gentlemen give your close, how can join? There's a few questions in the chat just about how people can commit to next steps and join the work that you're doing in your committee. So is there anything that folks can look for in the coming days and weeks from you two on how to join?
You can go to the BlackNorth Initiative and send all your resumes or any type of information. Send it there, and Donovan and I will receive it. We will be going over resumes. We've already got a couple that came in, or people wanting to join, people wanting to be a part. And you know, we have a big tent, so we truly don't plan on turning away anybody, because there's a lot of work to be done. There's a lot of work that need to be done, and trust he and I that we we need all the helping hands we can get with this initiative. So thank you for wanting to be a part.
Perfect. And with that, just want to give you both the opportunity to make any closing remarks if you'd like before we close the chat for today.
Well, I mean, as a true anchor man, I'll speak, and then I'm going to hand off to my good friend Isiah, because he did this at the start of at the top of our talk. You know what? I think that it's very important to say to everyone that's listening and that's watching, that's taking part in this, is that this is an incredible opportunity for us. Every single person, we have a room, as Isiah said, it's a very big tent, so we have a room for every single person. And I just want to make sure that we will do our greatest to ensure that from the boardroom to the floor, we're going to make sure that every single person who is involved going forward has an opportunity to excel.
You know, I'll echo that, and I'll just, you know, talk about, you know, going forward and excelling. And we as former athletes, you know, our goal was always to be the best and to be a champion. And when you're talking about being the best and you talk about being the champion, you're talking about rising to your highest level. And my dog right now is growling. He wants to get out, so if he starts barking, just play it off. But anyway, rising to our highest level, we want to, there's only one race, and that's the human race. And we want to rise to the level of humanity where we are all equal and we're not broken down in these subcategories of race, color, people of color, black, white, green, yellow. We're all part of the human race, and that gives us a chance to be equal. And that's what we're all striving for. So thank you for all joining us today. And if my dog starts barking, that means that he's hungry. And Donovan, I got to give him some food.
That's all right, man. I get it. I have to. I understand.
Thank you, Donovan. Thank you, Isiah. Thanks, everybody, for listening in. There's a few questions about how to get involved with next steps. You can go to the BlackNorth Initiative website, which would be in the registration email that got sent to you, or look up BlackNorth Initiative on social media, and there's an opportunity to sign up and register and get more information. So we certainly hope that multiple people will do that, and thank you again for joining today, and thank you again to Isiah and Donovan.
Thank you.
Thank you.